meeting to order. I will ask Karen Brower, the clerk, to read the meeting notice, call to order.
Notice is hereby given to the qualified electors of the School District of Sevastopol that the annual meeting and budget hearing of said district for the transaction of business will be held in the all-purpose room of the Sevastopol School on the fourth Tuesday, being the 27th of August, 2019 at 6:30 in the evening.
Thank you. A few introductions at the table. We have Mr. Randy Nesbitt, the school attorney tonight. I'm Lisa Berry, school board president. Mr. Kyle Lukey, superintendent of schools. Jean Krukel is the board secretary tonight. We have in the audience school board members Sue Today, Cindy Zeller-Ehlers, and Karen Brower, Jay Zahn, and Keith Volkman in the front row. Pupil Services Director Melissa Malcor. Margraf, I'm sorry. You guys are way Sorry. Middle school, high school principal, Mr. Adam Baer. Assistant middle school principal and elementary principal, Aaron Hiltz. Some school staff, Rock Lottenbach, building and grounds director, and maintenance staff, Patty Weber and Peg Bagnall. And Stephen Tukalski is our filmer tonight. So with that, we'll take motions from the floor for a chair for the meeting. Come on.
So you're a kid.
Randy wants to write through it.
Don't worry about it. Randy will help you. What is your name?
Dick Martin.
I nominate Dick Martin as the chairman.
Is there,
As the chair. We need a new chairman. She can't do it.
the school board does not run the meeting, the
Yeah.
community runs the meeting.
So it's citizen participation.
Oh, and I'm the only citizen here?
Well, no, they're all citizens, but they all have something to do with the school, so you're the only neutral person.
We just,
There is a script.
Okay.
don't worry about it.
I'll second the
Do I have to go up here
nomination.
and
Is
sit?
there a second?
I'll second the
You just have to
nomination.
vote.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other?
I move the nominations be closed and we cast a unanimous ballot for Mr.
Martin.
Martin.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Come on up, Mr. Martin.
Actually, I knew I was in for something. My wife said, don't open your mouth. I didn't even have to. They nominated me.
It'll be fine.
It'll be, exactly.
Stephen,
Should have brought my glasses though, huh? You can read something.
It's a magnet.
There we go. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay, previous minutes, annual minutes of August 28th on 5 and 6. Does somebody read them or?
They're just presented as listed and as printed in the document here, and if somebody has a question on it, they can raise the question. We don't need to approve the minutes.
Oh, we don't, okay. Is there any questions on the minutes from the last meeting? Are you sure? Okay. Then I assume we're going to vote on that? And
No, don't need to vote on it.
And they're approved as written?
Here is the little script, the M's, those are the ones we vote on.
Okay. State of the District 2017-18 Academic Progress Report. Did I?
The financial report.
Financial report.
Okay, let's do that. Financial report from 2018 and 19.
There we go. Okay, I'll find it. Still not at this meeting. All right, reviewing the past year's budget. And October 2018, we had an adopted budget of $9,525,742 in revenues expected to come in. The expenditures were $9,887,982 for a deficit of $362,240. June 2019 unaudited, and the auditors were here today, and they'll be here the next 2 days. Our revenues were $9,725,038, while the expenditures were $10,166,216 for a deficit of $441,178. And I know a deficit sounds bad, but it's okay because of the Fund 46 transfer. So, explanation of the deficits, our revenues above estimated. We had interest greater by $15,637. Our insurance dividends were greater by $5,500 than was expected. Our open enrollment revenue over our expenditures was $20,279. It's basically 2 students. Items came in below the budget. Elementary instruction was under by $42,357. The middle school, high school instruction, $29,600. Building maintenance, $52,373. Electricity, $6,627. Gas for heat, $12,272. Transportation, $39,552. The fiscal office, the business office, $33,393. Legal services, we had budgeted $10,000, $21 more than what we spent. Publishing and duplicating, $25,979. Postage telephone, $18,543. District technology, $61,322. So it looks like we should have more money on the deficit. And we had a couple of areas we were over in our budget. We had the athletics was over at $15,861. We purchased an additional bus for $95,650. Buses are not cheap. There's no bus in this year's budget because we got the 2 last year and we're in cycle now on those. And our technology, we went 1-to-1 and also had the changeover for Skyward. And what else we do, Stephen? We had the infrastructure as well.
Infrastructure, yep.
So that's $44,866. And then in June, we transferred $500,000 from our Fund 10 to Fund 46. And remember, those funds will not be, that's for building use only, for building maintenance and improvements. And those funds become available on 7/1/2020. There was already $1,000 in that fund before because us, started it 4 years ago. So that's how we ended up where we're at for this year. Any questions? Okay.
How is this?
Okay, we don't need the approval of this one? Okay. State of the District, 2017-18 Academic Project Report.
All right, good evening. Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to present the state of our district on behalf of our students and community. This is always an honor for us. I'd like to start tonight by introducing my colleagues and myself. My name is Adam Bear. I'm the middle school and high school principal here at Sevastopol School.
Hi there, my name is Melissa Margraf. I'm the Director of People Services here.
Aaron Hiltz, the elementary principal and middle school dean of students.
Thank you. Mrs. Margraf is going to start by going through our goals for this presentation.
Great. It's my pleasure to talk about the 2018-2019 year in review. My colleagues and I are going to talk about our district and school-wide goals. We're also going to take a look at the highlights from the 2018-2019 school year, and then looking ahead to the 2019 and 2020 school year, the things that we're looking forward to. The first thing we'd like to talk about for our learning goals is our math and English intervention, which happens for all of our students, for K through 12. There is a continuation of reading and math intervention opportunities, progress monitoring and individual learning supports for all students, and the Title I programming for all students. So it's a continuation of services that have been successful in the past that we are going to continue to use in the future. In regards to universal instruction, I want to highlight our improved universal instruction for our ELL students, so that's English language learner students. This year we had 9 teachers and 5 educational aides who participated in 3 professional development opportunities. The opportunities that they learned more about were understanding second language acquisition, understanding social versus academic language, teaching strategies, and coaching from CISA 7. So our teachers and our associates participated in more instruction, and we will follow up this year with what is our next step in that process.
Thank you, Melissa. This past year, our staff used some in-service time to develop the use of our science text. It was a new series that was implemented at our school district. We also spent some time focusing on some writing rubrics. We also spent a lot of time taking a look at textbook series for English language arts, and it was an extensive process that resulted in a series called Benchmark to be used at K through 5. The big advantage with the Benchmark was the ability to use the same materials provided by the company to address the needs of different students, those that were struggling, those that need some progression in different areas. At the high school level, that was My Perspectives was chosen by Pearson, and that was selected late in the year, and it will be implemented this year. So we'll see more about that.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. One of the things I'm excited to talk about is our educational technology. We saw vast improvements last year when we were able to offer our 9th through 11th grade students individual devices. Each student comes to school with a Chromebook. They're able to take this home. It allows them to have connectivity, not only with instructional resources, because a lot of our textbook resources are now online, but also with their teachers in real time. So this is a great collaborative tool. Looking forward to this year where all students in the high school will have individual Chromebooks, so it's a great resource for them. And we all know that today we live in a digital society, so it's really important that we give our students those tools, and then in an educational environment, teach them how to use them appropriately. So we're really having a lot of success with that right away. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the extension of academic and career planning. Actually, the next 2 goals are really related to each other because we at the secondary level have to focus on transfer of our students to the next opportunity, be it career, technical school, college. It's really important that they're ready for those experiences. So we have a lot of goals wrapped into that. First thing that we want to do is we want to make sure they have a good experience. We maintain several elective course opportunities here within our school so our students can have exposure to and determine if they like curriculum and then pursue careers or interests beyond high school. It's really important to us. But we're also doing a great job of collaborating with outside resources. One of the great collaborative programs that took place last year was the home construction program, the career training program, and also a new program to us last year was the CNA program, where our students have an opportunity to attend NWTC classes, get training in our hospital, and then leave with a CNA certification. So it's really exciting for our students to have that exposure. The next thing I want to talk about is dual credit. While attending high school, we want our students to leave not only with a graduation diploma, but also college credits. We know that college is one of the most expensive ventures that our students will face. So giving them the opportunity to take some of those classes in-house at a minimal cost or no cost is a really advantage to them. And we can do that by training our staff or using other resources. So there's really 4 different opportunities here. First of all, advanced placement courses where students take a class in-house with our teachers and then take a test that allows them to have college credit. The next one is online and distance learning opportunities. We're part of a ShoreNet shared curriculum that is shared across the state of Wisconsin, so there are several opportunities for students there. Last year we started the UW-Oshkosh Cooperative Academic Program, and that is called CAP as short, but our teachers are certified to teach for UW-Oshkosh. So students taking class here get high school credit, at the same time they're getting credits from UW-Oshkosh, which is very transferable to many, many colleges, so it's a great opportunity. The next one is through those extended partnerships with NWTC. Of course, we have a Sturgeon Bay campus, and we have several programs. I mentioned a few of them, the home construction program, the CNA program. Those are the types of programs that we collaborate with them on. What's really exciting about all of these is last year's graduating class of 2019, 93% of our students left with college credit. So that's a great success story for us.
I'd like to transition to staff professional practice goals. It is always our goal to recruit and develop and retain school staff. And how we do that is first with our highly qualified instructional aid training. We continue to certify all of our associates in reading, writing, and math to become highly qualified. They're supported throughout the process as well. In addition, all instructional aides have started to attend full in-service for collaboration and informational purposes. It really makes our staff more cohesive and everyone is on the same page, which is really, really instrumental to student success. Pupil services and training support. As I mentioned before, we had increased English language learner instructional support, but we also developed a more formalized process for student support teams for early intervention and identification for students who struggle. In addition, we enhanced our 504 identification, facilitated more support teams, and educated our staff so they can understand the difference between a 504 plan and an individualized education plan. So a lot of training went into that for our staff to fully understand the impact. Finally, there's ongoing improvement and development and implementation of students' IEPs based on our successful IEP audit that happened at the beginning of the year. So we continue to grow and learn in those areas.
We will continue using educator effectiveness, something that's used across the state in terms of developing our educators. And a couple ways that they do that. The first one is they develop their own personal learning goals, professional learning goals, and how they're going to grow over a 3-year span. In addition, they develop student learning objectives where they take a look at how can I take my students from point A to point B and improve that process. One of the things that we'll talk about later is a guest speaker coming in tomorrow, actually, by the name of Bill Banks, who will be talking to our staff about better ways to engage our students. And some staff will likely use that as their student learning objective. How will they incorporate that to make sure that student outcomes are increased? Also, a third of the staff is on cycle to be reviewed at the end of the year by one of the administrators.
Thank you, Aaron. The last two parts of our staff professional development goals that we'd like to discuss tonight. The second to last one is technology training. To keep up with our students and their use of technology, it's important that we invest in our staff. They're our best resource for rolling forward these goals. So we went through an extensive training in Google Classroom, which is a shared platform so we can share resources and documents with students live time. It's really a useful tool in a lot of different ways. The second thing we did is we purchased and installed Go Guardian. It's a Chromebook management software that allows us to manage the Chromebook itself so we can ensure that it's an educational tool and we can ensure that it's a safe tool for students to use. It also is a great collaborative tool because I can push out a web page or a link or a video to my students so that they can see it live time. This can happen at any time, even on snow days, and we had a lot of those last year. And that was used for that purpose, so it's kind of a unique tool. We also participate in a lot of training. We have experts amongst our county, and we've collaborated with our teachers internally, but externally with other school districts, and annually we hold a What the Tech conference where our teachers can attend and get training. We can all learn from our colleagues around this area. It's very useful. The last goal then, of course, is school assessment and data analysis. We want to make the best decisions we can for our students, and the best way to do that is to look at the data. The data is very telling of how our students are doing and how we are doing as a staff. We can always find ways to improve. So it's really important that we analyze our data and we use it, and as an administrative team, that's one of the resources we go to regularly to look for areas to work on. What's unique about this is I think our staff is very successful at using it. We've used it for many, many years. But now we see more than ever, not only our staff using it, but our parents using that data and our students using that data to set their own goals so that we all have a growth mindset and we're all improving together. The next thing that Mr. Hiltz is going to talk about, he's going to talk a little bit about student achievement at the elementary school.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As he had mentioned, taking a look at data. This is very surface level, but it does give us a broad picture of how we are performing against the state of Wisconsin. Our students have been doing very well, both in math and you'll see in the English language arts area. On average, we're about 10 points higher than the state scores, with a range of about 7.5 to as high as 17.5 ahead of the states.
Thank you. I'm going to share the same information for our middle school. And this is a test that's given annually to all students across the state of Wisconsin in grades 3 through 8. I'm going to represent, of course, the middle school data. So if you take a look at grades 6, 7, and 8, these are our students' scores in comparison to the state of Wisconsin. On average, in mathematics at our middle school level, our students are scoring 48% higher proficiency rate than the state average. That's really amazing, and I'm excited to share that. But what I'm even more excited to share is that last year our middle school was recognized as the #1 performing middle school in the state of Wisconsin according to state report cards in this data. This year our math scores are 15 point higher than last year's score. So our students, our staff, all of our teachers that prepare our students really did a wonderful job again this year in math. The same type of results are also the case in English, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. An average score of 41% higher than the state average. Again, this is an increase, not as big, but 3.5 points is still significant when you have a district that's leading in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm really proud of their performance here. What we have to do as an administrative team, though, we can't lean on this. We need to constantly talk about improvement. We always want to do better, and so we're always striving to improve these scores. And when we talk about students, it's important that we have all students succeed, not just 85%. So we're really focused on that all the time. At the high school, we use a different assessment to gauge our students' readiness. We use a college readiness test called the ACT test. Many of you might be familiar with that. This is the only comparative data that I could get at this point because the data has just been released. So the only thing that I can compare it to is by subject, so English, math, reading, science, and a composite score compared to the state of Wisconsin. So you can see that, and this is for the class of 2020 because all juniors across the state of Wisconsin have to take this test. All right, that's only been a mandate for the last 4 testing cycles. So in the last 4 years, all juniors had to take this test. Previously, you could elect to take it or not, so that data is not the same. But in the 4 years that we've been doing this, this is the highest our junior class has ever scored. So again, they did a phenomenal job. In this group of students, though, we had one student that scored a perfect score, which we've never had, at least in my knowledge, at Sevastopol School. So we're really proud of this group's achievement. What I want to do, though, is break it down to an individual level because I think we look at this data and it is impressive, but I want to look across the board at all kids. It's really important that we discuss how each one is doing. So one of the measures that I use for career readiness and college readiness is a score of 18. It's a general score. You won't find it online or anything, but I want to make sure that they're ready and they're reading at that level. I think they can participate in technical school, a career at that point. Remember, they're only juniors. But if you take a look at where 18 is and our scores, you can see that they're all doing very well. But I can tell you that 92% scored 18 or higher on this test, and they're juniors, so we have another year, plus the time we had last year, to improve those scores. So we believe that we will have them all ready when we're done with this test cycle.
I get to continue on with some more highlights that we had last year. Sevastopol School District significantly exceeded Wisconsin's expectations according to Wisconsin's accountability system. And like Mr. Bear had mentioned earlier, that Sevastopol Middle School was the highest performing middle school in Wisconsin according to the Wisconsin's accountability system.
And we have many highlights to acknowledge tonight, and we don't just want to highlight academics. We are an educational institution, but there's much more beyond that for our students. So we pulled out some other smaller pieces of data that are equally important to us that we want to celebrate tonight. So last year, I think our whole community celebrated. I know we did with the first ever state championship football here at Sevastopol School. Our 8-man team brought home the state championship, and it was so rewarding to celebrate that with our kids. But not only football, we had 4 other sports that had state qualifying athletes last year. So our athletics did quite well for a small school district. Another piece of data that I pulled out is our music and arts participation. We've raised our participation by almost 50% the last 2 years. So our students' participation in programs of that nature really have increased, and that's exciting to celebrate as well. The other thing is just involvement in your school. Students come here and academics are important to them, at least we hope, but that's not the only reason they come here. They come here for a whole range of other reasons, and we want to make it fun and engaging for students. So that's one of our goals, is to encourage co-curricular opportunities, whether it's clubs or organizations, sports, whatever it might be, but we continue to see good involvement in that. The thing that I'd like to celebrate about that, though, is at the end of last year, our senior class came up to me and said, "Mr. Bear, we're not done getting back, we want to do more." And I said, "Well, what does that mean? What are you talking about?" And they said, "We'd like to have a carnival, an event for Mrs. Simons, a fundraiser to celebrate her and all she's done for our school." So that leadership didn't come from me, it didn't come from a teacher, it came from our senior class. And it's really exciting to celebrate when students see giving back to their community, and they see volunteerism, and they see fundraising as a part of their lives. So it's really rewarding to see that take place.
And to that, just to piggyback off of that, the elementary students took part in that carnival as participants and thoroughly enjoyed it. So those students who organized it not only did a nice job of just organizing an event, but really making it something meaningful and enjoyable for our younger students. Our Destination Imagination program here is outstanding, as evidenced by the fact that we had 6 teams that qualified for state, and of those, half went to the globals. It was very impressive, especially for a school our size. Last year, we had the first participation in the National Spelling and Geography Bees. We had a student who went here and represented us in our regional, and that was a lot of fun. We had some other wonderful events, including our Dr. Seuss Night, which was very well attended. In fact, from what I understand, it was the highest attendance we've had in the last handful of years, so it was really, really enjoyed. We had 3 editions of our elementary newsletter. Last year was the first year we held that. And just a repeat of Destination Imagination. We also ended the year last year with a field day, which was a real nice culmination of everybody participating. It was a lot of fun and a great memory.
Over the school year, we have put significant emphasis on creating more mental health services for our students who have the highest needs here at Sevastopol. We are increasing our efforts and commitment to become a trauma-sensitive school. And finally, we have a continuation of our increased collaboration with the community supports within Door County to help our students with the most significant needs.
Looking forward, I'd like to talk about our strategic planning effort. Last year, we had a committee of school personnel, parents, and most importantly, students that came together to form goals for our school to move forward. What we appreciate as administrators is that's great guidance for us from the community, the students, and the staff over not just one period, but several years. So we're looking at these strategic goals, and 7 action steps came out of that, but we're looking at working on these for the next 3 to 5 years as a really important focus. And when we can all come together and pick valuable goals, we know that we have a better opportunity of succeeding. So we're excited about what's happening there. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. The first one is a curricular goal, and what it states generally is that regardless of our students' future plans, we will create meaningful opportunities and ensure growth for all students. So we will engage all students wherever they are at and find meaningful ways for them to grow and ensure that they have good opportunities here. The second one that I'd like to talk about is co-curricular. I know that's quite small, but it's the same thought or philosophy, is that we engage all students in co-curricular opportunities, and we represent all populations within our district, and our students are engaged beyond academics. They have other ventures here that bring them here to celebrate our school culture.
I'd like to talk a little bit about how we're going to prepare our students. The first objective that we have is creating a learning environment that meets every student, that is relevant, it's rigorous, it's engaging learning experience to assist all students at all levels. The other objective is learning supports. We want to provide guidance for all of our students and their families to help all of our students realize their true potential.
Under social responsibility, We are going to utilize resources in the community. That was something that was really important in the strategic planning process, was talking about community involvement as a way of developing positive character traits in our students. We want our students to leave Sevastopol excellent citizens, and we want to make sure that we're doing that from the ground up. We're really working this year at the elementary level on developing some programs that will help that. We also want to align some necessary resources to make sure that we are providing a safe environment for students. We are implementing a lot of trauma-sensitive school initiatives in our building. And then lastly, the ongoing assessment of the district's overall safety plan and making sure that we are meeting all of our students' needs regardless of the circumstances that may take place. As was mentioned earlier, we are going to continue working on universal instruction. As I said, Bill Banks is an expert in the area of engagement, and we'll be talking to our staff tomorrow about different strategies that can be used in the classroom for that. The English language arts curriculum, again, we adopted the text series, and we are going to be using a lot of our in-service time over the course of the year to make sure that we're implementing that with fidelity.
We are looking at revitalizing our current response to intervention system. We have a response to intervention system, but we're looking to engage some of our students, not only who struggle with learning, but students who need to be given more enrichment. So there's a teacher team. There's lots of our community is interested in different ways and different opportunities to, again, make sure that we're reaching all students, whether it's a student who's struggling or it's a student who needs more. To engage their learning. And finally, it's the beginning stages of implementation of a gifted and talented program here at Sevastopol. We're really, really excited to get off the ground and get moving for our students. So these are some of our district goals for next year.
We'd like to end our presentation by answering your questions, but also thanking you for the opportunity to serve this great community and our students. I know that this is one of the greatest teams that I've been part of, student-focused and centered in our decision-making, and it's a real honor for us each day to come to work and serve the great community that we have here. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Can we answer any questions?
I just have a comment. It's just amazing to listen to the three of you. As a school board member, you make me very proud. This is exceptional work, and it starts from the top down, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
I came as an outsider tonight, and because I wanted to hear, the only thing I heard about, I thought the school was rated like 4th in the state overall. Am I saying that wrong? You were 1st in the middle school, but 4th overall as far as the high school maybe it was. And I wanted to hear and see some of the stuff, and that's what hopefully I'm getting tonight. And I think you guys have done a good job. It sounds like you're really on top of it. I had a horrible education, and so it bothered me when I saw kids that did not have good educations. As it was, I went to 12 different schools during my 12 years of education, still went on to college, struggled the whole time, but made it through a college education. And so when I had a family, I made sure that they had a good education. I purposely moved my job and myself to where I know the best schools were, and they accelerated through those schools, which was what I wanted to achieve with them. I think I was talking to the presidents over here, and that's it does make a big difference. It surely does. And through that, then I became a mentor at church, at middle school, high school, and did things for many years. So I have what they now call many adopted children. I have a home on Door County I've had for 50 years, and I have kids that come up in their 30s, 40s now, still calling me their dad, because some of them had drugs, some of them had alcohol, even when they went to college, but they always came back. And I just remember certain things I would tell them, like attitude is gratitude, or gratitude is attitude, and which I learned from a guy in Door County, and different sayings, and they would bring that back up to me, and they'd say that's what kept me going sometimes when I had my low point. But they all ended up to be good, which is what I'm trying to see with what's going on here too. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kind comments. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Next thing we've got at coming up is a budget presentation hearing.
Fund 10, our general fund, will be $10,101,166. That's a estimate at this point because we don't know our third Friday count and other factors, but that's what we're guesstimating at this point. Our expenditures, we believe, will be $10,215,033, so we're budgeting a deficit of $113,867. The budget will be finally approved in October when the other numbers come in, but that's what we're at this point. And if you remember from 1718, let's just say 1980. Let's just say 1920. From 1819, it was 9.7 million, so you wonder why it's up. Well, here's our enrollment. This is enrollment, but this is a head count. It's not open enrollment. It includes open enrollment kids. That's actual physical kids we're thinking they're going to be here. We know on Tuesday more 4Kers will show up because they always do that first week of school. We may lose a couple, but that's what we're estimating at. Last year, the number we showed you was 599, so it's pretty close to last year's. Revenue limit increase, 983,928 for an increase of $1.6 million. Say, well, that's quite a bit. Our operating cost referendum, non-recurring, was $1.5 million in last year's budget. It's $2 million this year. And last year for the building referendum was $500,000, and this year it's $1.6 million. So it changes those numbers. Proposed tax levy in the general fund will be $8,078,837, which includes the $2 million referendum for operating costs. We had taxes that someone didn't pay their taxes, and so we had to pay the municipality back. And this year we're allowed to claim that on the revenue limit worksheet. So that $1,079 that the taxpayer didn't pay now goes out to the community because we had to pay that back to the municipality. Debt service fund, $131,945 is the energy efficiency. We're in the 5th year from the end of that expiring. Our community service fund remains at $20,000. The building referendum, like I said, is $1,602,067. Last year it was $500,000. And so total tax levy on the locals is $9,833,928. The state aid dropped from about $19,000 down to $7,000 for us, and that's all based on the number of students in the entire state and the amount of money in the general fund for education. Our proposed tax rate at this point, the estimate is $6.76. Last year, with the $500,000 on for the building, it was an even $6. So it's going up 76 cents. Our property value, the estimate we got right now is an increase of 5.6% overall, so that's good. The last 2 years, the property value has decreased around here, so this year it went up. So I gotta leave this one up because when we do the next motion, these are the numbers, and these numbers should be stated individually during the motion. Well, it's after the property ones, but number 12.
So we're looking for an approval now in 2019?
Right, but it has to be, each of those 5 areas needs to be listed out separate in the motion.
Okay. Can I have a motion from the floor to approve the general fund for $8,078,837? All those in favor?
Well, you can do it all in one motion, you just have to list each number out, yeah.
And then the tax charge back of $1,079, the debit service funds of $131,945, community service funds of $20,000, and finally the building referendum of $1,602,067 for a total of $9,833,928.
I would move to approve the proposed tax levy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. It's approved. Okay. Grant board attorney for self-access of personal property.
We need a motion for the
For the what?
for the authority to sell excess personal property.
Like that's the furniture we make them with here at the school, we can sell it to the public then.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the sale of excess property.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, it's passed. Grant Board Authority to transfer the sale, is that the same one?
Need another motion for that one.
For that one, okay. I need a motion for granting permission for granting the board authority to transfer the sale of property.
These
I don't know what that is.
these are large ticket items like a bus or a building or something.
Oh, okay,
These are large items, not minor, yeah.
okay. Does everybody know what that means? Okay.
I will so move.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed. Okay. And then the next one is establish the 2018-19 school board salaries. Do I have to read all that?
Well, it just states what it was for 18-19 to give
Okay.
people a reference that it's $245 per month per board member and $50 per diem for other meetings. But that's just a reference for what we want to set at this year. We can say the same or do something.
So you're looking for a motion
Right.
from the floor as to
Right.
what those school board salaries should be.
Isn't there discussion before there's a vote or something like that?
Yeah, there would be a discussion.
Discussion too,
You
sure.
make a motion, then discuss it.
Okay, I'm making a motion then for to establish the school board salaries for 2000, oh, that's one, no, that'd be for 1920, wouldn't it?
19-20.
It would be for 1920.
This is just showing a reference on last
Okay.
year's, yeah.
Discussion from the floor?
I think we need a motion, right?
Okay, the motion would be then to keep it the same as it was.
I make a motion to, that the school board salaries remain the same at $245 per month and $50 for meetings outside the district. Correct? Is that what it says?
Yes.
That's what it says.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed. Okay, establishing 2020 annual meeting time, place, date, and grant the board authority to change if necessary.
What is the proposed date?
Do we have a proposed date?
We don't have one, but
August 25th, 2020.
I move that we establish the annual meeting date of August 25th, 2020. I'll second. 6:30 PM with board authority to move the date as needed. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed. How do you read that last one?
that's some people's favorite line.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I didn't know if you had anything else going on.
No.
Well,
Wow.